Aquaba, welcome to Expat Life Ghana. I'm Tony. This is my wife, Ayo. We're documenting our move from Texas to Ghana as we go beyond the return. And this episode, we're talking about, did we escape oppression in America to become the new oppressors in Ghana? And that's the accusation.
You know what? They might have a little something with that. I don't really know. What do you think?
Someone said in the comments that by us having house help, we're basically acting like oppressors. So that's the topic of this live is, have we gone from oppressed to oppressors, and are we really hurting Ghana?
Yikes, this sounds like it's going to be a big one. So let's get this video started.
Okay, I want to put this out to all of you. If you think, us hiring house help makes us oppressors, type oppressor in the chat. If you think it's just part of life, type normal life. And let's settle this right now.
This sounds like it's going to get deep. Before we get too far into the conversation for today, I just want to mention that our reality series, Coming from America, is going to be streaming on TLC Africa starting April 2nd.
Yes,
Yay!
9 p.m.
Yeah, we are beyond excited to see that the journey that we had is now going to be shared with the African market. There were a bunch of people here who were really wanting to watch it and were unable to. If you are still a little behind, you can catch it on HBO Max. Otherwise, if you are here on the continent, it'll be streaming TLC starting April 2nd.
Not streaming, it will be on TLC. It's not streaming. It's just like a regular channel, TLC. In Ghana, it's I think it's GoTV, channel 142.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You know the deets on this one, huh?
Yeah. Well, you got to know where you're out at. Yeah.
I guess there you go. All right. Let's pivot back to today's topic.
Yeah, we're going to stay on topic and just move right along.
Do you think that this is true?
Yeah. Having house help is, the new form of colonial oppression.
Do you think that's true?
No, I don't.
Okay, so to some people, it might read like having house help is a sign of being the oppressor, but to others, it's just like regular life. So are we hypocrites, or is this just like a misunderstanding of culture? I guess that's the question that we want to dive into today. Because
and this actually started because, of a comment in one of our recent videos.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump. I actually got put something together so we can show those comments up on the screen. I'm gonna go ahead and put those up now. Okay, so this is how it all started. Someone commented that this is about. We mentioned in a recent video that we had house help, and someone says that it smacks of slavery. Do your own chores like you do in the U.S. Social welfare needs to take a look at this. And I think by this they meant like us.
We had people come in once a month to do some of our house chores for us. So
well, I was a little bit like, do your own house chores like you do in the US. Okay. So this kind of sparked off a little bit of comment storm. This is some of the other ones that popped up. I bet that colonialists said the same thing. The question is, could you do that in the US? And I assume this is like employ house help.
Yeah.
Slavery is forced labor. People being paid for a 9-to-5 is called work. Yeah. And then cooking and cleaning every day may take up too much of their time, so they may just need to get help. Don't judge what you don't know.
Yeah. And I must say, looking back, the amount of housework we did, I was all for bringing people in more when we were in the U.S.
We did have a housekeeper in the U.S. So this is not beyond the scope.
Yeah.
But it just played a little. It maybe sounds a little different from this context. We actually, the person who initially posted, I have their kind of rebuttal in here too. But there was one where that somebody asked us all these questions like, how much do you pay them? How old are they? Do they have quality education opportunities? I bet you'll not be able to answer all of these questions. And I got a little, I'm sorry, excuse me.
and to be honest, our at least on my side of the business, and my employees are pretty well paid. They're paid above the average for
Yeah.
what their job description or job title is.
But I
So
think that it just the way that that sounded made it feel to me like it was very assumptive, as in clearly we're employing underage people and not paying them a living wage
yeah,
and not sending them to school. Like, what kind of people do you think we are?
yeah,
And then this last one, even the slave master can argue that he paid by providing food and shelter. This is disgusting.
yeah.
So I kind of made a little saucy comment,
Saucy.
couldn't help myself, just to kind of like stay in your lane and don't make assumptions. But the original poster came back and said that they are Ghanaian, that they were born and bred here, and that they are a U.S. resident as well. And when they and their family come and visit Ghana, they do their own chores, partly because they want to inculcate responsibility and discipline in their children. And even though they can afford house help, it continues, let's face it, no one is paying house helps real wages with Social Security. We have seen such an abuse for such a long time, and we detest it. But to see that our own Black and brown sisters and brothers are doing this is disconcerting.
You know, it's so much to unpack there. It's,
there is a lot. there's a lot. There's a lot in that. So here's where I guess here's where I don't know. I felt like
you know, I guess my big question is, why do people see hiring help as oppression, while in the U.S., it's a status thing?
right?
Yeah, here's normal life.
Right, but I mean, even for people in the U.S., right? Like when we were employing a housekeeper, I didn't ask her if she'd been to school. I didn't, I hired an employee and I paid a wage that was fair, that would get me somebody who was decent at what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think like it's almost like I feel like this gentleman is almost a little bit hypocritical, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
For those of you who've been to Ghana or anywhere in Africa, did you notice how common it is to have house help? I just drop a little thumbs up emoji or a check mark if you did, just so I know.
Yeah, I guess my thing is, why do Americans, view hiring help as exploitation?
Well, and he was a Ghanaian guy, so he's been here. He knows. I don't know if this is just to me when I first was reading through the comments. Like my assumption was kind of like maybe this is trauma from slavery, and there's like a racial kind of power dynamic that makes the idea of a Black person with house help feel like servants or feel like really wrong. But I mean,
but here in Ghana, having house helpers or whatever you want to call them, it's completely normal. Not just for the rich. In the U.S., only the rich have help. Here, middle class and even working class families do.
Well, I guess the question then becomes like, is all of this, the conversation that gentleman is having, is this more about us coming in and doing harm somehow to like the local people or the local economy? Do you think that's what it is? Okay.
No, I think we help.
You think we help? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna jump in the comments because we unpacked a whole lot of things there. We kind of just threw a whole bunch of stuff out, and I would love to see what other people are kind of reading into this. So let me get it. I can't even see my buttons up at the top. Let me get into the comments. Oh wow, you guys are very in the comments today. Whew. Oh, I think this is going to be an interesting conversation. First off, we've got some folks who are saying hello. Jet was just with us.
Yes.
Hopefully you'll be back soon. Sounds like in September you'll be back again.
Yeah. Carl Wright, hit me up. Hello, Expat Life Ghana. Hello at expatlifeghana.com.
Yes. Yes.
Be glad to help you out when you get here.
Absolutely. So we've got a lot of folks who are saying hello, and now we've got a lot of people who are responding here. We've got normal. We've got some people just saying yay and hello. I saw this already. This is there a second season? People talking about the show. Hopefully we'll get something. Hey, Miss Joanne.
Hey T, how you doing?
Good evening. Good evening. So Eve says that house help is nothing. It's the impact of the overall economy for the locals and affordability for them that I want to hear about. It's really interesting. So she's saying like it doesn't matter that that's the job. The question is, can you earn a fair wage? Can you earn a living wage? Yeah. So a couple people saying yeah, they want to hear about that part of it.
Hmm.
People in the U.S. use cleaning services.
Yeah, we did.
I guess are you not supposed to tell people that?
Listen, live your life, be happy.
This one is really interesting. How can you be oppressing when everyone in Ghana has house help? Even house helps have their own house helps.
Yeah.
And it is completely true. Like this is not a lie. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. It's normal and it's great that you can hire locals. Yes, having house help is common in some parts of Africa. They must not know any Africans. But this guy's a Ghanaian guy who
Mhm.
comes back with his family. He's been here. So what do you think
You
this
know,
is really about?
I think a lot of people are trying to. I don't even know how to describe it, but be like, "Oh, we're not going to be like them. We're gonna."
Wait, do you feel like he's saying he doesn't want to be
Like an elitist or something. I don't know how to describe it, but he wants to seem like he's grounded. I have no idea, but people just live your life, man. Just live your life.
Bertie says, I don't think it's slavery, it's a culture where it is.
Yeah.
But we've got someone here saying West Africans sold slaves, sold our ancestors. So Black Americans have every right to work those West Africans. You're paying them. They're getting far more than our ancestors ever got. I don't think that's
I'm
it
not. Yeah,
either. Like,
that is. Yeah, you're so far off on that one.
But
Not
I think
today.
But I
Not
think that
today.
I think that's actually kind of like where the tension comes in a little bit is that like people are reading this as
Yeah.
an offset of enslavement and people trading and like power over others, and it's not. And I
Hmm.
and I know people because we've been to meet and greets where we've had other expats come in and they say that they don't want to employ.
Yeah, and then we at the same meet and greets, you hear people, any good house help?
So
And here's my thing on that. If you're able to employ somebody at what they're willing to do, I don't understand the problem. I don't. If you're paying them a fair wage and they're coming in, they're happy to work for you. I don't see the problem. If it's not demeaning work where you're taking advantage of them, again, I don't see the problem.
well, and we are a little different in how we operate
Yeah.
than maybe normal.
People yell at me all the time when I tell them what I pay someone, and they're like, "You paying them too much." I'm like, "No, but they're good." No, 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 don't pay them. You're paying too much. I'm like, "Listen, they show up all the time.
Right.
They don't steal.
Right.
They're just good people. I don't have a problem paying it." So
Yeah, and I think you know there was one more comment. I'm going to actually put that one up because I think this also speaks to kind of this idea that um, this was the comment. I bet no one in Ghana is giving their house helps signed employment contracts with benefits. So the government needs to check on this and make sure that they don't run things the way they shouldn't. They should be more like the UK and the US.
this is not the UK or the US.
Well, and more importantly, like we actually do have a contract with our employees,
Yeah.
and they have annual raises and job descriptions. So, so is this like just a culture thing? Is that what is driving this type of conversation? Is that what it is?
I don't know. I think a lot comes because the foreigners are coming here and we're altering in some places the economy where we're squeezing locals out.
Do you wait? You think Americans are coming and squeezing out the
No,
locals?
foreigners, not
Foreigners.
just Americans,
Because
but
we're about to have a problem.
yeah, foreigners.
Because I actually feel like Americans are not the majority of foreigners that
No,
are
we're
here
not.
in
We are
country,
not at all.
and yet I feel like we disproportionately get
Hmm.
finger wagged at changing the financial landscape or
Hmm.
pushing people out.
And before like the Black Americans started coming here, there was a lot of Asian folk here, a lot of Indian folk here. So for me, it's
A lot
like
of
we're trying,
Nigerians, a lot
yeah,
of people
we're
from other
trying to catch
countries.
up,
Yes.
and I think for us, at least from what I see, there are a lot of nationalities that are here that aren't doing right by the Ghanaian people, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Based off what I see just every day and seeing how interactions happen. I'm like, ooh, don't take that from them. Don't. And I might go up to somebody, hey, don't talk to these people like that. Don't. That is very disrespectful. You talk to them like that, you'll talk to me like that. If you didn't hear my accent, you would have talked to me like that. So you would have had a major problem.
Well, there is
So
yeah, I've seen people treat their house helpers where I'd be like,
yeah, yeah. So this whole, the going back to the slavery thing, I'm looking at what's happening today, and there are some remnants of that mentality that people are trying to take advantage of, but at the same time, I think you have to have a respect thing,
yeah.
and just respect people coming in.
Well, and there's this other. Yeah, I'm trying to like kind of distill what the complaint is here, and it sounds like it's really there's a cultural aspect to this, but there's also maybe a curiosity as to whether we're paying a fair wage and if we're actually creating jobs or if we're somehow inflating the wages and compressing or like lowering the jobs. I don't know. I feel like that is maybe part of this.
Mm. Most house helpers, they prefer this over other work. It's stable, pays better, and part of culture. But they're hustling to get to that next level, and they're working towards, like their own business or some other goal. So that's what I see.
Yeah, there's like a hustle.
That's what I see
Right.
personally. That's what I see.
I mean, I guess like when I was in college and after graduation, even I was working like 4, 5 jobs. I was working as a nanny, a photographer. I was waiting tables. I was doing a whole bunch of stuff just to get by until I got to that like next level. So is that different than what we're talking about here? Having to like do that hustle? Is that any different because we're in Ghana talking about people hustling as house help versus America where you're in a job that pays less than I mean, right? If you're in a job that pays less than $20 an hour in the US, are you not oppressed?
Yeah. Is it the kind of work then, the idea of, cleaning or cooking or driving is demeaning. Hmm.
Is that what it is?
I know policemen who are drivers. Is that demeaning?
Ooh, like this
You
is
know, they all they do is drive their boss around all day. Is that demeaning?
yeah,
I know people who are chefs and they love cooking. Is that demeaning that they're just cooks or chefs? Is that demeaning? I know people who enjoy their job as cleaners. They enjoy the work. That's
yeah.
that's their thing, leaving something, going into an environment that is hectic and coming out and saying, yeah, look at the calm and cleanness I put on
So it's like
this
our
situation.
OCD Virgos out there.
Yeah. So
Or somebody who's come out of a corporate job and has just been really stressed out and wants something that's a little less rigorous.
mhm.
But we've all had to hustle. Like I said, I mean, if you're in the US right now getting paid less than $20 an hour, you're on the hustle too. You got a second job somewhere.
Mhm.
Somebody has to make the ends meet. So I I don't know. This is an interesting conversation. He says the house help is nothing. It's the impact on the overall economy for the locals and affordability for them that I want to hear about. So let's kind of talk about that for a second. Do you think that when we talk about a fair wage, that a Ghanaian house helper who's making an average wage here in Ghana can afford life.
I think I'll say this, and I'll stick by it. I think Ghanaians are hurting themselves more than foreigners.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, if you want to go and rent a house, there, even though the law says you aren't supposed to charge them 1 and 2 years in advance, they're charging 1 and 2 years in advance.
And you're saying that like that's Ghanaian landlords as opposed to
yes, that's
foreign.
those are Ghanaian landlords, and then because they feel like they have a nice place, they jack the price up so that locals can't afford it, and the only people who can afford it is the foreigners. And it's like, well, you're shooting yourself in the foot and then saying, well, you're the reason, you're the guy pulling the trigger. No, you're doing it to yourselves, basically.
That's actually what happened to us, right? Like
Mhm.
we moved into a place playing in CDs, and then our landlord was like, you know what, we're going to double the price and make it dollars. And
No,
we
he
were like,
tripled the price and made it dollars.
and we were like, what, you didn't fix anything, you didn't improve anything. What? And we moved out. It's set. There were plenty of people who went to go see
It's
it.
set for like 6-7 months.
And finally, they got another foreign family to move in.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of one of those things where it was like, we're actually the ones that were kind of being.
Yeah, they were taking advantage of us. And I was like, not today.
So let's go back to this original.
And if you think about it, let's say they want rent and the rent is 1,400 cedis a month, right? So that's, do the math, like 14,000, 16,000 something a year. Well, if you're only making 1,500 or 2,000 cedis a month, how are you able to save that much? How are you able to save that much money up for 2 years rent?
We ask ourselves this question all the time because we are trying to pay rent, and we're like, where do people come up with all this rent all the time? Like, how do they figure out how to squirrel this away?
It's to me, what I see are Ghanaian people just taking advantage where they shouldn't, and then because we come in and we're like, well, that's not bad, and we look at it like we're getting a deal, but we're only getting a deal because it's not a deal to the Ghanaian people. It's out of their reach now. So they're doing it to themselves. They're pricing their own people out just to get us in.
Is that a little bit of supply and demand too? I mean, like if like the house that we were renting, if they can't get someone in who wants to pay the incredibly high rent, if the market won't absorb it, then won't they eventually have to lower their prices to get someone into the property?
Yeah, but as we've seen, they only lowered it so much, and who moved in? Another foreign family. So they priced themselves out from a local family being in there, moving in there, to just a foreign person being able to afford it.
Again, just to kind of like be a little bit frank, when Tony and I make our contracts, are annually renewed with incremental increases and bonuses and sick leave and days off
and the incredible holidays they have. Shout out to the Ramadan ending next week because we get 2 days off, right? Monday and Tuesday, 4-day weekend. Holla holla.
And plus, the dasho, and the food. Anyway, in addition to all of this, we go out of our way to make sure that our employees are not only fairly treated, but more than fairly treated.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we are in a position to do that. And
I have a long list of people wanting to join my team.
And so I guess that goes back to this kind of initial implication, which is the idea of having someone help you in the home at its face is oppressive. Even if you're someone who's been here and knows, you still feel like
Hmm.
it's wrong. And so I don't know. One of my
And
housekeepers is white here in the US.
Maximilian, we appreciate
Thank
the.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Um, yeah, and you know what? I've learned that what you see, Ghanaians don't like to show their wealth.
No, most
M-
Ghanaians don't like to show.
Old
There's
money,
some.
old money don't like to show their wealth. Um, I I'm reminded by a couple people that like the salad lady, 28.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, we are out here in Tema, Maine, so kind of the main section of Tema, and there was a woman a few years ago who sold salads in like a shabbily assembled kind of
Yeah,
like
just you know,
shanty shack on the side of the road. And we would go because that was
the
some real
salads were
salad.
good. Yeah, I
Some
was just
good
hey,
salad.
best salad I ever
Eventually, the local authority wanted to clear out the space,
had. Hmm.
and so they asked all of the vendors there to move on. And in going there to kind of find out what was going on, we found out that that salad lady was making more money than I think
We
we were.
were,
So this,
and you never know it, but you know, they someone's like, oh yeah, you know, she has. Oh no, that lady, she's rich.
uh-huh.
She has a storied house, and she put her kids through uni, and I'm like,
They travel abroad. She's
what?
got all the. We're like, wait, the salad lady,
The lady who comes here looks like, oh man, let me just give you some extra. You just, yeah.
the salad lady.
Hmm.
Another example of this, just so that we can make another reference here, is the Hello Kitty bag.
Okay, so I was looking at some property to rent for the lodge, and the landowner comes out. You know, he showed me the property, wouldn't budge off the price. You know, just sticking to his price. I'm like, okay, whatever. Um, but then you know, he's like, oh, can you take me to the bank? You know, it's not far. And I'm like, all right. Well, how he's dressed,
If y'all saw how this man was dressed,
you
right?
know,
Like
rag shirt
shirt
with
has a
holes
hole
in
in it,
it. You know, just it looked like he had a string holding his shorts up,
and he's
wearing flip flops, carrying a Hello
carrying
Kitty
a
bag,
pink
a
Hello
little like a little 4 or 5 year old little girl would have, little
backpack, right?
backpack, a
A
Hello Kitty
little.
bag, right? And he says it might be a minute. You should come in with me. I'm like, all right, man, I ain't signed up for all this. We get to the inside the bank, and he goes up to the teller, and they're saying oh hello to him and all this stuff, and he goes, oh, I just want to make a small deposit, please. I'm thinking, man,
You just out here running the
this
Supernova,
dude
right?
pulled out. He put the bag in, and he's pulling out like 3 inch stacks of $200 or 200 CD notes, like 4 or 5 of them out of this. I'm like,
He's just walking around with this stuff in a little Hello Kitty backpack.
yo. Then I understood why he wouldn't budge off the price. This dude had money, and
Well,
then
and you found out later that that was like he has 3 or 4 10-bedroom houses, and
like other properties spread out through the community, and I'm like, what?
the dude with the hole in the shirt and the Hello Kitty backpack.
You never know. Like if he and I were walking down the street and it was some thugs out. I don't know what street that would be
I
around
don't know
here,
either,
but
but let's just go with it.
they jump me and get my little 200 CDs I got in my pocket
And
and
this
say,
dude got
oh, go ahead,
thousands.
you go ahead. This dude got tens of
Uh,
thousands in this little Hello Kitty bag, and he goes to the teller. I want to make a small deposit.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Old money here doesn't like showing their wealth. So I think people are confused in what they see. They come here and they see a lot of people, and it looks like, oh, they're this or they're that. Nope, don't. don't assume anything about anyone here. You know, the people who look like they got money probably don't got a lot of money. They're just trying to look like they got money. Same thing like in the States, I guess. But
Well, there you go. Well, so someone says
yeah.
this is a red herring in America. African American women do the same thing. So what's the issue? Yeah, I would actually almost say that I find it a little more offensive that when immigrants come into the country that they're relegated to positions of
Hmm.
house help or home health, and as opposed to being able to cultivate all of their abilities that they have honed from outside. I think that's actually more in line with what oppression is in my brain. George says Ghanaian landlords are Shylocks. Not wrong.
Mm.
Ghanaians who can afford it employ house helps. That's been a part of Ghanaian life for ages. The reason why people build boys' quarters when they build their house is specifically for their house help.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. And I will say too, like I think there's almost this other thing that kind of goes without saying is that first off, you know, it's so important to remember that sometimes like this is just coming up because of our expat like that connection to us not being from outside,
Hmm.
right? Like there's this thing about us being from outside. But I'm gonna tell you right now, like there is no way I could work a job and also do all of the chores that are in the house that would need to be done. Like even in the States. Like I could barely finish all the chores in the house because it'd be like I had a washer, dryer, a dishwasher, and a cleaning lady, and I was like,
That's
listen,
just too much.
it's a lot here. Can we? I need it's so much. So
Yeah,
I
that's a full-time job.
it is a full-time job, and here things are harder because there are no dryers. You're line drying, and there are a lot of conveniences that are not universal, and so
Hmm.
everything does take longer, which is why house help has house help.
Yeah, and we're not elitist or anything like that because, like, we got a what do you call them? A guard.
Hmm.
Everybody in our neighborhood has a guard. It's like it's not a big deal that you have. And I think because that's what we see all the time. It's just normal to us that
Hmm.
either this house or at the lodge that this is just normal. I don't know for the area, but even
Yeah, I mean, like, here would be the question that I would be actually curious about is for you to have a guard
hmm
at a house, is that oppression or is it only when it's a woman in the house cooking that it becomes oppression? Like, is the guard outside working and the woman inside enslaved, even if they are both making what conceivably is a decent wage? Sexism thing? Or we just like really learned
yeah.
these weird
Well,
assignments.
I tell you that I'm not oppressing anybody.
You're just gonna say that, that's it.
That's it.
Boom.
I'm not. Yeah,
So, sir,
I'm not.
with your accusations, Tony is not oppressing anyone, and neither am I.
Right.
The real question is, how do Ghanaians feel about working for Americans? Is there any resentment? Um, here I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So we traveled for a vacation,
Hmm.
and our house helper made a small whisper in your ear that anything you might be able to bring back would be appreciated. For me myself, every time I go to the US, I bring back American toys for my staff's kids. And they look for it. Like you've never seen me. If you see me at a Walmart toy section in the US, it's because I'm trying to find the black Barbies. So
Hmm.
they they get an extra perk from it. Moreover,
From I'll say this from the people like us because
yes,
there's some people that
right,
come here and they're like they do like pay the base minimum and try to it's like come on dude, stop all that.
yeah.
Don't come here and be those kind of people that that give us a bad name. Don't. So there are some people like that, but we are not those kind of people. We don't try to associate with those kind of people. Just for the record.
My house helper is only in the house like 6 hours, 6, 7 hours a day. I mean,
Hmm.
not to say that that's like, but we're not the people who have their house helper from dawn until dusk and late into the evening, and they go home
And
and
then they go home. They have their own
yeah,
house
they go home.
where I'm sure somebody's.
Side helping them not
They
to.
go home like, "Whoo! I hope dinner ready when I get in." You know what?
It's
Paying them too much.
I know, right?
Oh
Wait a minute.
man.
We were offered so many times from the Ghanaians to be our house help. They always offered because they were looking for work, and they knew you would pay them fairly and hopefully treat them right. That's what we have found anyway.
Hmm.
Is that um, when there is kind of like a this isn't going to work out speech, a lot of times it's because house helper didn't know how the American approach to X, Y, or Z was. To give you an example, I was talking to someone in the diaspora who was here, and they had hired a house helper who also did cooking for them. And so they were in the kitchen, and the house helper was cutting up chicken. And she said, "When you get a chance, will you cut up some mango for her daughter?" And she stopped and grabbed the mango, and with the same knife started cutting the mango for the daughter. And she was like, "Oh, you're fired! Oh my god!" Just that was the end. That was her last day.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you. Sometimes these knives see a lot of different places.
Yeah. But our person that comes she was trained, and
But
she's very good, and I taught her some American dishes that she does very well on.
if you were wondering, Tony can cook, y'all. Tony can cook. So she learned from the best.
I'm not the best. My if Tia,
Your
it,
mama was the best.
oh yeah,
Your grandmama was the best. Ooh, your mama was the best. Ooh, Tia's on here. You better. Tia, you're the best.
well, my mama learned from her mama and her grandmama, so it's hard to say. But yeah, my mama could cook.
You
She
got
was
this.
wow. Guys, my guys would come over like, dude, your mama cooking? Like, man, go home and eat your mama food, that old stove top stuff and stuff. We eat dressing over here. My mom be making in the black skillet that cornbread to make the dressing. Y'all, some of y'all know it. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. My mom, she was. Ooh,
Well, there you go. Most black says y'all telling nothing
yeah.
but facts. uh, yeah, I think I guess we're kind of coming to the point where we can say that we are not oppressors.
No, no, not at all. And how dare you say that? You don't know us. Don't say that about us. Y'all know us.
Well, that it did feel a little like judgy,
Hmm.
um, but it sounds like most of y'all in here are kind of agreeing that this is just a part of American life, or excuse me, of Ghanaian life.
Hmm.
And when Americans come from the U.S. to Ghana, is there anything that they need to be mindful of if they want to have house help and not feel that they are kind of being dragged with this oppressive
Yeah.
kind of
Um,
idea so that they can shed it? Because we have met people at our meet and greets that feel like they shouldn't they shouldn't have.
hey, listen. If you are retired and have nothing else to do, and you want to cook your own food, wash your own clothes because you have nothing else to do, then hiring house help is not for you. But we have a couple businesses that we're running here, and um, that's just not our lifestyle right now. We don't have that time, and we got two boys who drive us crazy. And I don't know if you, Luke and Leo. I tell you that Leo, oh my goodness.
Such a slob. It's such a slap. I can't say it.
So but even on that, the house helps us, keep him in line. You know,
Yep, for sure.
so she's part of our family.
Yep,
4 years, 4.5 years, she's
yep.
been with us.
And we had a couple of people before that, and it
Yeah, it
was
was hit
like,
or miss,
yeah, it
and
was
there
a
was a
little
lot
bit.
of misses, and then she became available. We were like, "Ooh, yes,
Uh,
yes."
and if I remember correctly, we had one that was not meant for indoor. Like every time we would look for him, he
That dude
would
was
be outside in the
outside
garden.
trying,
And we're like,
and he was good at what he did inside and out. But every chance he ran
back
outside.
outside.
I'm like, yo, man, we
Yeah,
need.
that was kind of funny. Then there was one guy.
And then the one girl who brought her daughter with her, I was like, yo,
She'd
your
make him more
daughter,
mess.
yeah,
She'd be
your
like,
daughter
"Your
is
daughter's bad.
wild,
You need somebody to watch
yeah.
that." Yeah, so I mean, like there is going to be a challenge to finding the person that's going to
Yeah,
work well for your kind of household and your system and what you expect.
definitely. When you get
Just
a
be
good
aware of
one,
that.
just
Pay
hold on,
them well and hold on to them.
hold on. Remember, she was like, "Oh, I think this is my last. I'm leaving." We're like, "Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We need to talk to you about
She
leaving
did.
us."
She said she was going to try to leave. We're like, no.
Mm,
You
she's
cannot
still with us.
leave.
Yep.
Yes. You
I think
said,
she was like laughing all the way to the bank. Ha ha!
I know. I was like, come
When
as
I'm
much money
ready,
as you want. I
yeah,
know you can have it right now.
yeah.
Do
She
whatever
was
you
like,
want. Tell
just
me.
tell him I'm gonna leave when I want a raise. Yeah, hold on a second.
Tell them no. So then I guess my final question is, are expats the problem or are they just the scapegoat to all of this?
I think we're being looked at as a scapegoat for the most part. Um, there are people who here who are problems, but I think they're my. I don't know if I would call them the minority of people who come and try to do the right thing and try to be um, helpful with employment and helping people sustain a certain lifestyle. And but
Yeah,
that's not, we don't try to take advantage of people. That's not our thing.
no, and and that I think is reflected in how we approach relationships with others. But I I also kind of still want to circle back to this idea, based on a comment here. Cassandra is reminding us that that's why Black women in America are so stressed and tired because they're doing everything.
Hmm.
Girl, yes, we do have to put up with a lot of inconveniences here. Our lights were out not but 30 minutes before we were supposed to go live. We did not have light though.
Somebody forgot to pay the prepaid.
Prepaid. That was so annoying. Why can't they not just bill me prepaid? Again, that's a convenience thing, right? We don't have a dryer.
We have
We
we have a solar energy, high powered, non-electrical dryer.
we got lines outside in the
It's
yard.
yeah, it's called the sun.
but in in exchange for that, this opportunity to have someone help you with those daily tasks that almost always get assigned, no offense to the woman in the relationship.
I wash my clothes, put them in a dryer all the time back in the States.
Listen, you put them in the washer.
Hmm.
Sometimes you got them to the
I
dryer,
know I got them to dry all the time.
but from the dryer they ended up on the sofa until you wore them all again. They did never quite made it all the way to the closet,
I
unless
washed
I
my,
folded
yeah,
them for you
I
and
did.
put them over there.
Well,
Yeah.
I did half the job.
But you also get a benefit from this too, kind of like in the man chores you were assigned, right? Like you're free from having to take out the garbage. I guess that was Luke's job. You when there's something that goes wrong in the house, like we sprung a leak
Yeah,
the other
yesterday.
day, and I did not have to send you to the Home Depot to fix it. You called a guy.
Hmm. I don't have to do my own grass,
Right.
yard work.
And so that
It, it's
there's
a
a benefit.
benefit to my community here because of that. If I pass by the plumbing store in Community 11, they're like, hey, hey, they know who I am. If I pass by the electric store in Community 8, they go, hey, hey, they know who I am. I
Yep.
take the electrician there to get something. So they know who I am. Even the lawnmower, I had to take it to get service. They know who I am. In Community, what is that, 6 over there, 6 or 10? I think that part is 10. Um, so by having these people around you, you just become part of the community. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, and you're working with the community and being fair with them, so that's all part of the
Hmm.
process. Maximilian says I started my business by being a houseboy to an older woman. That was 32 years ago. I loved my house lady. Aw.
Hmm.
I mean, I'd like to think that our staff at least cares for us.
Well, I know my superstar does.
Yeah, I think she likes you better than she likes me because sometimes she'll make you stuff, and I'm like, ah, what? Uh,
Well,
uh, uh.
well, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to not like me.
Yeah, that's what
You
it
gotta,
is.
you gotta like wake up and be determined. Like, no, I'm just not gonna like that guy. Well, you gotta work at not liking me.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot to be said about how you establish relationships, um, and and that's really what it's all about. Somebody's saying, don't let people who offer nothing other than criticism to upset you. As long as you feel good in your heart that you're doing the right thing, keep at it. And I definitely do. And there's a couple other people saying, like in Guam, in Japan, people have house help. Um,
Yes. So this isn't just a thing here. It's
right. But I guess that was the thing for me, was that I wanted, for people who are thinking about coming to Ghana, or trying to mastermind their move, and to see a comment like that and then maybe feel like they themselves should not be permitted,
hmm
or that there is a negative stigma to it, is, I think, robbing them of what, not only the experiences, but what opportunities they can take advantage of by coming here. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up, because I
excuse me.
feel like you should know it's okay and that it's normal here, so that you feel empowered
Yeah.
to participate in that part of the Ghanaian culture and the Ghanaian lifestyle.
I need a
Hmm. You need to click on
a
one,
Leo.
and you need. Oh, okay. So that was kind of like my 2 cents worth.
Hi, I'm Leo. Subscribe right now.
Who's that kid?
That kid is 10 years old now. I don't know who that little kid was.
If you're still here with us, make sure that you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe so you can join us here the last Friday of every month, and drop a comment and let us know what you think about this conversation. Got some
Yeah.
folks who are still saying hi. We got Wendy.
Yeah.
BW is
Taquisha,
here.
how you doing? Good to hear from you, fam.
Yes.
Hey, Yunam, how you doing? Who else did I say in there? Tia again. How you doing? When you coming to visit?
For real.
Somebody asked me, "Oh, who in your family's come to visit you?" I was like,
My kids.
how they been my kids? They don't love me. A lot of people are like, "That's a 10-hour flight." Whoo!
BW says you are an oppressor. When we move to Ghana permanently, we will definitely have house help. I will not wash or clean. In addition, we will have help with school fees for the workers' children. Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, somebody's coming in. What are you trying to say? Oh Lord, they're getting into it. Let's just say, both are working. Some of these people will go hungry with their families without these jobs. They appreciate them. That is completely true. The job market here in Ghana is not the greatest. I think partially because the country is so young, and there's just going to be a change and a shift. The country itself. When I say the country is so young, I mean that the country itself, the country of Ghana, is young, and its
I'm advertising here.
residents are also kind of young.
Yeah, the average, it's
The
like
average
half
age.
of the population is under 25.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very young population, and the country itself is young. So I think a lot of these things are going to get worked out with time. But absolutely, without a doubt, driver, cleaner, cook, great wages, so that people can benefit from the fact that you're here. And I hope others will do the same. Thank you, BW. Whew. How do you find house help here?
Word of mouth.
Yeah, you gotta know somebody. You gotta know somebody who knows the person that they're recommending to you, that they can vouch for them somehow. So definitely don't
Hmm.
just take. My mother was a maid, and I respect work. I always pay more than customarily appropriate when living abroad. I'm retired, and I hired house help. Thank you, Evelyn. Speaking to the point again, it is just not unusual here. This is not something that is strange.
Yeah. And
So,
to that point, someone say, hey, that's what the boys' quarters are for. Like, yeah, exactly.
yep, that is exactly right. Well, while you are holding out your shirt, let's not forget about something really important. Where will we be tomorrow?
We're doing salsa dancing tomorrow at this place.
We are. So if you are in country and you would like to join us for our meet and greet, we are having our meet and greet tomorrow night. What are the times? Because I actually cannot
4
remember.
to 9.
4 to 9. Put on your dancing shoes. We will be dancing the night away at Zarzar's.
She will be.
You're going to get up and you're going to have to do a little dance with me.
I am. It's called Let Me Get Out of Your Way.
Okay, well, if you want to come and dance with me, we'll be there from 4 to 9, doing a little salsa dancing. You've got like a whole salsa troupe.
Yeah, it's a free event, of course. You got to pay for your own food and drink, though. But the salsa dance, there's going to be instructors there to say, hey, let me. And it's not just salsa; it's like Afro salsa something. So it's
Well, that was quite the sales pitch, but that sounds interesting.
it's something that is new and different from what your normal salsa dance experience would be. So yeah, I'm
Okay.
looking forward to it.
I like it.
It's
I
going to
like
be at
it.
this place.
It will be at
Zarzar's
Zarzar's.
exclusive. If you don't know about Zarzar's, I've been going there. Since we first started visiting Ghana, and Uncle Charles there is my number one buddy, and the food is awesome. That's why I go. The food is awesome. The club is the coldest in Tema. If you don't know,
Those are
the
some really
club.
strong sales pitches.
The food is good. The beer is cold. That's all I got.
And that's all you need to know.
And the company is great.
Well, if you are interested, it's tomorrow here in Tema, salsa dancing at Zarzar's. If you need additional details, definitely check us out on Facebook so that you can get the address. There is a second Zarzar named restaurant or something in Tema.
Yeah, but Zarzar's bar and restaurant, or restaurant and bar, however it's. But it's in Community 11. Community 11. Go to that one. The other one is not Zarzar's. It's some other. It's nothing there actually.
On the Facebook page, you can definitely get these deets so that you don't have any confusion. And hopefully, we will see you tomorrow.
I'll be there.
So for people who are
place.
intrigued by the idea of having a house helper, whether that be to do yard work, to drive you, to perform security, to be in the house cleaning, to serve as a cook, to do all
or
the
to
above.
beat your kids for you.
Maybe you need a nanny. I mean, this is all fair game. I just really I want you to think about how that has the potential to change your quality of life, but how you also have that responsibility to come in and be a steward of good faith and responsibility to others. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Your thoughts? He agrees with everything I just said.
She stole my words.
If you would like to experience all that Ghana has to offer, definitely check out our tours at expatlifeghana.com/tours. We've got our 2025. Oh, there's a lot going on in 2025, but if you don't want to miss this year, as maybe the year that you decide you need to scout out what life is like outside of America, definitely head on over to the website, check out what we have available at exilelifeghana.com.
Yeah. We have a relocation tour we should mention.
We
Where
are working on this relocation tour. We have somebody already taking it.
yeah, and that's very different than normal tours because we spend a couple of days looking at properties with developers and realtors, going out showing you houses, apartments, all through the Greater Accra area, including Tema, Darwenya, Dodoa, Abri.
We've had people go all over.
Yeah, just all over, and people say, hey, I heard about Cape Coast. We're going to Cape Coast. What is the development out that way? I'm having a hard time remembering that development name.
I never
it's out. Yeah, it's
out. Yep.
Yeah. And even the Sambra area, even that place now.
Yeah, we've taken people to a lot of like diaspora and plans kind of communities.
Yeah.
So,
and I always tell people, if you want to have the best experience coming here, don't do one of those places, because you want to come here and get the experience of being part of a community. With locals, if you want to be around a whole bunch of expats,
stay in America.
Stay in America. Maybe that's just me, but and that's where people get into a lot of issues. Is oh, they treat us so different. They don't treat me. Hey, they treat her different. So I open my mouth, they're like, hey, you've been in the States too long. You lost your Ghanaian accent. You're right. Exactly. So, if you want to come here with the best experience, come here.
With the locals.
Come here, live with the locals.
Yeah.
They'll respect you more for it.
Well, and that's really the point, isn't it? I mean, maybe not the entire point, but definitely a large part of the point. Just a reminder, don't forget, if you are here on the continent, TLC Africa will be
April 2nd, TLC Africa. Whoop, whoop.
9 p.m. You'll get to see the
Coming
first
from America. It's six episodes. Yeah, we're in all 6.
Yep. So hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that. Just a couple of ideas. The Ghanaian guy's lying. He's probably not Ghanaian and has never been to Ghana.
That's funny.
Maybe. Oh, no. Who knows? And then many Ghanaians are going to get priced out. The housing is getting higher. I say that, but housing has been getting higher everywhere.
Everywhere.
And so,
and it's not just Americans coming here. If you look at what's happening around the airport residential area,
what is going on over there?
It's like 4 or 5 luxury apartments being built right now. Across from the Accra Mall is, it was the Galleria, and then what was the other place? It was a new place that opened after the Galleria, and now it's a place being built in front of them. What is the name of that? I'm like, whoa!
There's so
like 2019, I think Galleria opened, or 2000. Yeah, I think that's when it opened, or 2018, and then the Galleria opened up, and it was just like so many places of high-rise luxury. It's not just us doing this. It's not. There's a lot of people coming here, and it's not us.
Here's the other thing to kind of keep in mind, right? Ghana is a country of what, like 35 million people, and by best estimates, there's about 10,000 Americans here. Like we're
the minority of the foreigners here.
Yeah, I think when we talk about people coming in from China, people coming in from Nigeria, people coming in from the UK, I don't know that the idea that many Ghanaians are going to get priced out. I don't know that I don't think that it's just the foreigners that have wealth. And I think if you think that the only people who have wealth in Ghana are people who come from outside, that is not the case.
The guy, there's some guy here just brought in this $3 million Ferrari for one. what street are you riding on that you bringing in a $3 million Ferrari, bruh? You know, this Ghana, man, if you was talking about you bringing in like one of those Ford Raptor trucks, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be fast and it can take the bumps. Yeah, four-wheel drive. But you're bringing a $3 million Ferrari? On what street are you driving it on?
I thought you said, didn't you see it? It was like,
Yeah, if this is the one, I'm like, and you see him going from a dirt road onto a main street, and it's like, man, listen, don't, man, I don't get it. And then you know, even the car show that people were having their own cars. It was like 2 Lamborghinis sitting out the front of the Elisa Hotel here in Timber.
the boys lost their minds.
And I was like, yo. And the guys were,
There's some
oh,
Ghanaian guys got in.
yeah, just Ghanaian guys just got in. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
we are not. I felt broke
Sometimes
that day because
we have those moments, especially.
I felt brokety broke. I was like, I saw it. It was like a car show of nothing but these high end, you know, super sport cars, and I was like,
we got a compact Suzuki little.
tell people what you
when
drive.
He honks the horn, it's like, excuse me.
I know, and then my truck ain't no better, you know, it's a little mid-sized truck. I want my F-250 back, darn it. I do. Yeah, but no, we are. Nah, it's some people here. You'd be like, man, they got.
Okay, listen. Even people who we associate with just in our community will be like, oh yes, so that, you know, my other house and this business and this other house business. And we're like, wait.
Yeah, I thought you lived here. Oh, you know, when I don't want to go all the way to the mountains, I stay here.
We can only pay rent on one house. We can't pay rent on 3 houses.
Yeah. It's we just.
So yeah,
but
the
old
point
money.
Is, yes.
Old money don't like showing.
The point is to assume that it's Americans driving up the prices. It's just, even statistically, numerically speaking, we're just not a large enough part of the population to have that kind of direct impact. So I will say that. Somebody says, you are speaking to me, Miss Raven, speaking to me about that relocation tour, but you've got to renew your passport. Yes, get that passport renewed because we want to get you here so you can see everything that is possible. You can get more information by visiting the website. Although if you want a relocation package that is custom tailored to you and your needs, send us an email at
hello@expatlifeghana.com. I was like, oh, she's talking to me.
Yeah, that was. Did you like that pitch?
Yeah.
You gotta pick up what I'm throwing down. Huh?
Yeah. Look at Dalim. Rich Ghanaians and Nigerians are driving up. It's not us. Because, you know, I see wealth here and I'm like, that is not us wealth. That is home wealth.
For sure.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Tony. Let it go. I don't know what he's supposed to do.
I don't know.
Don't let it go. It's the norm in Nigeria as well to have assistance in the home too. When I was in Nigeria, that's part of the culture there as well. So yeah. And then someone says a young Ghanaian allegedly had a $4 million birthday party last week. Can you imagine? We took our kid to the hotel pool and bought him a pizza.
Yeah.
Somebody says, I heard it was 20 million, so
I heard about that under investigation too.
Really?
Yeah, GRA is like, yo, man, we need to talk to you because your taxes is not adding up to your lifestyle.
Oh,
so yeah, I heard about that. Yes, absolutely. See, it's not us. That's
I'm telling you, Ghanaians will pay $1 million or more in cash to buy a house without blinking an eye. I know. Where does this money come from? And will they adopt me or take me as a second wife?
I'll be a driver. I'm a good driver.
Then I can be your wife. Oh, well, Anyway, someone wants to know if we're going to be filming another season of Coming from America. If you love the show, make sure that you reach out and ask for a second season. We would love to share the experience of folks coming in to Ghana and staying with us at the lodge and kind of diving into their stories.
Yeah. Secretly, we're going to be filming.
No, we have not. Nope. Not
Secretly,
letting you put that out there. Nope.
I'm telling you what's going to happen.
Nope.
We're going to be filming. Come stay with us at the lodge. You get a chance to possibly be on the show for season 2. If we don't get picked up for season 2, we'll put our own season 2 out there. Make sure everybody knows where I'm going to be in about 20 minutes. Zarzar's exclusive. Come have it. Hey, if you come and meet me at Zarzar's exclusive, I got a drink special for you.
Go buy somebody a club, huh?
Yes. Oh, we have Achamoda there now.
Oh.
That's a local spirit, and it is everybody knows about Achamoda. ATM or 2 fingers, they call it. Yes.
2 fingers.
Leave it alone.
Leave that one alone. Definitely gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah, young man. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, I think that's that's about it.
Thank you everyone for joining us in on this conversation and putting in your 2 cents worth. I think we have come to the conclusion that although we might be coming from America where we are oppressed, we are not coming to oppress others here in Ghana.
In no way, shape, fashion, or form are we those people.
Yes.
We're not.
Well, for sure not us.
Don't forget tomorrow, 4 to 9, Zarzar's exclusive. We'll be doing salsa dancing, and then April 2nd, TLC Africa. You can watch Coming to America, the TV show, with your favorite online personalities.
And if you are not in Africa, if you are in the States or in the West, you can always watch it on Max.
And with that, Charlie out for now.
All right, it's been a minute, so why don't we play the trailer for the show, just for those of you who maybe have not seen the trailer yet. Here we go.
I want to go back to the motherland. I want to go back home where I'm from.
Dude, you from the Bronx.
Tens of thousands of Black Americans are moving to Africa.
Are you ready for Blackzit?
Black people, do it.
When I came to Ghana, I stopped being a black man. I was just a man.
As I announced it to people, everybody was like, oh, you're moving to Africa. They reacted like I was dying.
Everybody's black, everybody's rich.
Real estate out here is amazing.
Go back and trace your roots.
Opportunities are everywhere to get it done.
But you should know, if you don't have an open mind, this is not going to work.
No, bro, I don't want no goat.
I cannot live where it smells. I'm sorry.
There's flies all the time.
Mommy, code blue.
10 days. 10 days with no water.
It is hot.
You got to be in shape to visit Africa.
There's no streetlights.
In Ghana, like, I don't know where I'm at.
He's coming this way.
It's very good for hormones too.
Oh. And I thought the LA dating scene was crazy.
You remember coming to America?
Yes.
This is the opposite.